We have even more now here on Friday. Marine. Rosa Cooper, along with a woman who introduced herself as Marianne McCullough, found Isabella Santos lying unconscious in the mansion for a year before the opening house start. Unable to recall what happened prior, Isabella insisted on working despite her co-agent worried about her well-being. Well, this isn't gonna go well now. Why did she decide to stop? That was creepy. A flock of people have already gathered in the mansion front yard by the time we officially open the doors. I'm not sure whether I should feel baffled or underdressed standing in their presence. Men and women of wealth and statues of awe. Statues all dressed to the nines in fancy suits and lovely dresses of varying colors compose the medium-sized crowd. Their necks, arm and finger are adorned with silvery gold and glittering in the afternoon sun. Maybe I should have worn my necklace. No. Some even have ridiculously fancy feather hats on their heads. I really hope there aren't any magpies? Magpies? Living nearby like in the stories. Those birds will have a field day in this. Oh, it's some kind of bird then? I'm not sure what kind. I don't know about magpies. They are murmuring among themselves, looking at the state's facade, appraisingly with some arguing about whose mansion has the superior architecture. Oh, but most of it stops at Rose calls for attention. Attention, please! They don't look too pleased at being ordered around, but what can they do about it?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rose Cooper, and this is my partner, Isabella Santos.
Hi.
We'll be taking a tour of the mansion in 2 groups. Please make sure you filled up our sign-in forms before joining a specific group.
Those who want to look around the first floor, please follow my partner. I'll be guiding the ones who wish to see the ground floor. Goddamn Americans and their first floor and ground floor difference. The ground floor is the first floor. First, second. Hearing this, a few wander towards me. They are mostly old ladies who seem daunted at the idea of climbing all those stairs. Then why would you even have this house? Leave the place then. Oh, Miss she had something there like very hard on the C or something. Miss Kellogg also joins our group. But what really catches my eye is the elegantly dressed pair she approaches. Yeah, those are the other 2 we have here in our little curse of the 7 people. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Ooh.
When Chief Inspector Lee mentioned that a famous interior designer is in town, I knew I had to get you.
Oh, how wonderful.
Your confidence in my skills is very flattering, ma'am.
Oh.
I'm sure you won't disappoint, Marianne.
Of course not.
You know each other?
Oh,
Not
they
at
do.
all, ma'am.
You mentioned something about a Marianne on our way here, darling?
Oh. Are they having an affair? Are you having an affair there behind you? What? Oh wait, are they brother and sister? I can't remember because I read a little bit there like they sent out with the Kickstarter when they presented the new characters. I do remember them too. I know they have the same last name. I don't remember if they are no, they can't. They look different. Their eyes and blonde isn't the same blonde, right? Yeah. Man and wife. So he has an affair then with her, right? No, I don't know.
Oh, yes, I think I did.
Did you though? They must be the client she was talking about. I might have seen their faces somewhere before. Some magazine or the television. I can't quite remember. But then again, most of our guests have likely ended up on the news one way or another. I won't be surprised if these 2 have too. For people who are popular, though they aren't dressed as loudly as the others, and in their simplicity the couple stands out. The woman in particular is stunning enough to turn the heads of most people in my group, especially the men with wandering eyes. The guy standing beside her doesn't seem to mind though. You mean the vampire-looking guy? He probably isn't. I mean, there's only place for one horror element, and that's the curse, the ghost we met already, the letter. Yeah. And if I'm going to be a bit bolder with my assumption, I'll say he basking in the attention. Both of them, in fact. Peace in a pod. Oh. I think they are brother and sister if it isn't for the public display of affection. Oh.
The matching rings on their finger just cement the fact that they are indeed a couple. What if they are both? No. We're not Game of Thrones at this Game of Thrones. Whatever. And I shouldn't mention Game of Thrones, because otherwise I'm then gonna get triggered and go on a rampage and everything. Because, no, couple or not, what's important is we get the deal closed before the current owners can even think of cancelling the listening agreement. I just hope one of the people in my Rose group is brave and generous enough to buy this mansion. I guess it's those two. Or maybe. And so, with papers in hand, I lead the way. This way, folk! Come here! Over here! Oh! October 21st, journal update. Let's see what the journals say if we have... Oh, God. Next, and... what does it say here? Today marked the open house of the infamous Ernegrade mansion, open to the public for the first time in years. Luxembourg's most esteemed and prominent personalities gathered to catch a glimpse of the 17th century property, including Luxembourg's most well-known couple, Luke and Hannah Wright. Oh, so I knew their name. How did that happen, game? When they aren't whispering among themselves or going, ooh, ah, over one thing or another, they ask questions. From how the restoration process went to the history of the place, I answer them all, more than happy to talk about the art piece and architect mostly. And you know what, if you kickstarted enough here, you could have your face at one of the portraits in the house. I don't know if any of these four is, but somewhere in the house. However, I'm careful not to mention anything about the urban legend. Not a good material for sales talk, even if the entire population of Luxembourg knows about it.
Some of the furnishings here are actually the 17th century originals,
Ooh.
all of which have undergone a painstaking restoration process just to return its original beauty.
Even the glass thing. Colorful ones. Oh, I don't know, but you get the idea, I hope.
Yeah, the colored windows.
Especially that one, ma'am. It is said to be a gift commissioned by the fiancé of Lady Charlotte Ermengarde. The mansion's current owners have specifically requested that the restoration crew take great care in handling it.
Will that have something to do with the cars?
It's a priceless work of art and the most distinctive feature of the mansion.
That or someone will be thrown out that window. By the time I've stopped talking, her attention is already elsewhere.
Isn't this place wonderful, darling? I told you it's not a total waste of your time.
I don't know. Isn't it a bit too small? We might have to break a wall down to have more room.
Well, I think it is just right. Don't you think so, Marianne?
It is splendid, ma'am.
Wasn't there... Mary... Wait. Why did it story up? I didn't have a choice or anything. What? How? Is that from something I did? What happened?
But isn't it a little too early to make plans when no deal has been signed yet?
Oh, because I mentioned that. Like, if I had said I don't know, that probably would have been different here now.
Never mind that. It isn't going to be a problem. Start taking notes, though. I think I've got a few things I want changed before we move in.
Okay, yeah, that's probably fine. Wonder what they said. I missed that a little. I were a little too happy on the old trigger finger. Pew! Rest of the conversation gets lost in the chatter-on of our other companions. Oh. I don't want to make any assumptions, yes, but their sheer interest is enough to give me some semblance of hope. Oh, please, please, please let these people be the one. Eventually our group reaches the kitchen. Much like the rest of the house, a great deal of effort has been put into retaining the room's classical appeal. Yeah, it looks like something out of a Disney story. I fear that trapdoor. No, it's not. This is the calm part, story moments and all that. But yeah, the open heart at the end of the room in particular looks amazing, like the ones I only see in fairy tale books. See? She knows it! It seems very fairy tale that Disney-like, so you could totally see Cinderella being there. And mad props to the cleaning crew. Seriously, after hearing hundreds of their complaints about the soot and tar staining bricks and how much of a pain in the arse cleaning this be, they still managed to pull this off. Yay!
The highlight of the room, however,
or make
is
it look
what's
presentable
underneath
at
this
least.
hatch here.
Oh, don't say anything yet.
Don't
An
open, please.
underground wine cellar.
Probably, that seems very logical for this place, right? This is the first time the guy in grey speaks up. Mr. Luke Wright. My memory supplies from the form they signed earlier. His sudden attentiveness catches me off guard. Since the start of the tour, only his wife has shown any form of genuine interest in the place. Are you alcoholic? He's an alcoholic. But this time, something lights up in his eye at the mention of the Undercroft. He hopes they have a lot of wine. Oh. You aren't some serial killer, right? And you want to hide the corpses. Why am I assuming so many bad things about people? I don't know. What's so interesting about the basement? I really don't understand rich people sometimes, but it's pretty pristine there, having an underground wine cellar, being able to go in there, see it all around you. I don't drink wine, but when I was in France, it was amazing going into some of those basements there and just seeing the wrecks there, how it was preserved. What's the English word? You know, getting ready, like preparing it for. Right now, he just gives me the impression of a child who has just seen what he absolutely wants for Christmas. I always find it cute whenever I see children act that way. My younger siblings especially. On a grown man? I don't know. It's almost funny. Well, it is funny with children also, but it's kind of funny and adorable,
it can house
you know?
around 7,000 to 11,000 bottles of wine.
Truly.
Whoa!
And the room, how was it built?
The bricks that were used to build the cellar have been carefully picked for the purpose of maintaining and preserving a constant temperature and humidity in there. It's a good place to keep your private collection in if you have one, sir.
It keeps the corks in good condition.
Oh, love. Didn't you say before that you wanted to make your own personal vineyard? Perhaps you could start one here.
Yeah, that's just wonderful. It seems so great right now here. And I'm so happy that it isn't any scary at all at the
We're going
moment.
to need space for that, darling.
And this isn't big enough?
If it's space you're worried about, sir, the Ermengarde mansion sits on a 46-acre lot. There's plenty of room for it. We were told that the original owners had a horse stable built here before, too.
There's a contemplative expression on Mr. Wright's face, but he doesn't say anything further. His wife, however, seems really pleased that he has started to show interest, if only a little. I smile to myself. I may not completely understand how these people's mind work, but I sure as hell know how to spot a buyer with sincere interest. Yeah! Score! I can't wait to tell Rose. The rest of the tour goes by without a hitch. After more than half an hour, we're able to cover almost every room in the ground floor, and are heading to the parlor. Funny, the first time we surveyed the property, I kept complaining to Rose how big it is. Now, I can't even bring myself to care, no matter how much my feet hurt. Maybe this is just my excitement over a prospective sale. Maybe.